So, what are our thoughts, wants, and needs for the new TECHMARINE class? And I have been looking at the perks for the class recently, so I do have some thoughts about this. I think the team perks for this class have some interesting ideas, but maybe can be adjusted. Not to mention, I've also seen some leaks on the class's weapon arsenal, which does seem to be pretty good, but I do have some suggestions there. And I think this post is really good, so I definitely wanted to highlight this for a moment, considering we are going to get a patch soon. The patch after next patch will be the TECHMARINE class. So this is the time to really iron out if the TECHMARINE's kit is relevant enough, which I will say it is. It does seem very devastating from a damage, standpoint. It may overshine some other melee classes. We will get into it, but I like the title of this post. I really wanted to talk about the thoughts everyone has for the TECHMARINE and what they are expecting. And obviously I wanted to reference the actual leaks that we have seen. So yeah, let's get into it. What kind of expectations do you have? I'm expecting the shoulder bolter to be his ability, and it be like a 5-second auto turret to help with wave spam. I mean, we don't really know the behavior of the turret, but we do know the perks of it. But other than that, I'm failing to see how it could be much different from any other class. What do you guys think? I wonder if there will be any unique gameplay interactions, like a mission where one player has to be a TECHMARINE to progress. That would not be a great idea. But yeah, let's finish this post and we will go into the perks. And I will say, it does feel pretty different than other classes. It feels like there's a lot of options. It's kind of like an all-around class, but I would like to see this class have a little bit more of a support standpoint. We will get into it. I'm also curious, as it's the first specific marine type and not just an armor variant. Like, all the other classes are pretty interchangeable. Any of the marines could wear any one of the other armor variants and probably have or will eventually. I mean, kind of, I guess, but like, you have to consider you would not want Vanguard's armor on heavy. Like, that would look... I think heavy needs to have heavy armor, essentially, so that's not really the subject here. Whereas TECHMARINEs are like a specific type of marine who have spent time with the Mechanicus. Decimus couldn't just put a TECHMARINE suit and call it a day. No, that's very, very clear. It gives me hope that we will get better class systems in the next game down the line. Ooh, okay, that is definitely a good point to arrive at. I agree. I do think TECHMARINE, especially what we have been seeing from the leaks, definitely has some interesting abilities for sure. With classes like Chaplain, Librarian, Apothecary, I'm keen to hear other perspectives, as I really have no idea what to expect here. Well, if you're in the boat that you don't know what to expect, if you haven't seen the TECHMARINE perks, or if you don't want to see them, that is what we're going to highlight next. And yeah, then we will go into the community's specific request for TECHMARINE, and we will see if the perks delivered that. But for me, I have some thoughts about some of the perks. We will get into it right now. All right, these are the perks for the TECHMARINE. We have covered these before, so I will not be going into each and every one. Again, we've talked about this. However, you can see from top to bottom, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. TECHMARINE really does feel like an all-around class. It can essentially do everything in a sense. So yeah, I'm very happy to see this. There's a lot of melee, there's some long range, some close range stuff. You can obviously be very powerful with your weapon and your turret, so there's a lot going on for TECHMARINE. But the team perks, I think, are pretty interesting here, because I would like to see a little bit more support from the team perks. We do have Bastion Field. All squad members within the Sentry turret will take less damage and deal more damage, but we don't have the numbers here for that. So I would love to see if we would just get, like, this is just flat out damage resistance, not like ranged or melee damage, just straight up damage resistance. That's really good. So I would love to see if the numbers for the damage resistance was probably just a little bit higher than the ones for damage, because I really don't think we need help with damage in this game in certain cases. Obviously, I know everyone's gripe with body shots and everything like that. Fair. But still, I would love to see more damage resistance in this game, and I think TECHMARINE can deliver that. So we also have Guardian Boost here. All squad members fully regenerate their armor and gain additional armor segment when using a healing injector. This is the one I'm not a huge fan of because obviously this is not going to be very relevant in higher difficulties because you don't see a lot of healing injectors. So it would be nice if this was adjusted. I don't know. It would be cooler if you could see more stim spawns in boxes or something. But you would think that feels a little bit too much like an apothecary. I do like the idea. I do like the idea. Like if you use a healing injector, you also get some armor, but also, let's be honest, there's so many other ways to get armor in this game. I'm not too sure if this team perk is going to be super relevant, but I still like the idea of it. I just think it should be adjusted in some way, just not 100% sure. Additional armor segment, so it is effectively an armor boost on your heal. That's a great idea. I do think that's a great idea. It's just we have such a weird healing economy right now. I just don't know how reliable this team perk could be. It would be something that we should use a lot, you would think, right? Now, we do have team resupply here. All squad members gain an additional equipment except Melt the Bomb. Again, there's already so many ways you can get your equipment back, at least for your class. And to be honest, a lot of people use that at higher difficulties anyway. So I don't love the last perk here, you know, for team perks. I do think they're approaching it in a good way. And I don't want to make the argument that TECHMARINE should just be apothecary. I obviously don't want to do that, but I still think some of these team perks just aren't unique enough, or maybe are a little bit too rare in the sense the Guardian boost could be a little bit too rare. I do like Bastion Field. I definitely like Bastion Field, and I do appreciate that devs aren't trying to just like add in damage resistance out of nowhere. They're at least trying to get creative with it, so that's a good approach. Let's be honest, there's a lot of creativity within the perk setup for TECHMARINE regardless. But these team perks, I think, need to be improved, and we will see when the TECHMARINE releases and, you know, how soon it is to actually see TECHMARINE in the meta and, you know, in hard siege mode and hard stratagems and everything like that to see how this stuff performs. But in my opinion, I do think they need to adjust these team perks to be a little bit, I don't know, I do want to see this last one to be a little bit stronger. An additional equipment, I guess, is okay. Maybe more damage if you have armor up or something like that, or more damage resistance if you have armor up, like something armor specific, so it's not just a, you know, TECHMARINE that's also an apothecary sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't want to see that. There's not a lot of support with TECHMARINE anyway, so it does make sense that TECHMARINE is more of a gadget guy, 100%. But then it's like they do have this, you know, the stims turn into armor boost. That's kind of similar to what an apothecary would maybe do if it was just to, you know, to further support healing injectors. That, in my mind, is kind of like an apothecary, but I guess, you know, this can definitely be left up for interpretation and everything like that. And not to mention, I'm really just looking at this through a perspective of what the game needs and not so much from a lore's perspective. So I understand that point completely as well. So if you're satisfied with these team perks and you think this is fine for TECHMARINE, I'm completely there with you. I just think some of these team perks aren't going to age very well into hard difficulties. Okay, so this is the TECHMARINE's setup for weapons here. They do have bolt rifle, heavy bolt rifle, which is great to see. Oculus, which is also great to see. Plasma exterminator, also really cool. And then secondaries, plasma pistol, inferno pistol. That's fair. I think that's cool. Inferno pistol is probably what I'm going to go with. And then melee weapons, power axe and power halberd, which will be the new weapon. And definitely excited for that. I think most people are going to be using the TECHMARINE in a melee sense, so there's going to be a lot of close range with the TECHMARINE. I definitely see that coming. But as far as our primaries goes, I would love to see the Instigator here, to be honest. I don't see why it's not here. I mean, if you're using the bolt rifle, the heavy bolt rifle, Oculus, plasma exterminator, it's kind of like you took a little bit from tactical and a little bit from, you know, Vanguard. But then, you know, they have the plasma pistol, inferno pistol. That's pretty good. And then they're a melee class, so I just think Instigator kind of fits in here, just in case you want to go with a little bit of a longer range and maybe a more headshot-centered weapon. Heavy bolt rifle can also fill that spot. But the bolt rifle, I'm not 100% sure if this is, you know, it's probably not the auto bolt rifle, but it does say a rifle, so maybe it is the auto bolt rifle. In which case, I would love to see the other bolt rifle here as well. I'd pretty much just, honestly, for TECHMARINE, I don't see why it doesn't have the bolt carbine, and yeah, just overall with the primary weapons, I would like to see more of those, but I think, obviously, that's something that devs could adjust for sure. Since I think I've been keeping up with the leaks and I'm just hungering to put my fingers on them, I just want that the only things we don't know yet will be good. As in, good variety and different styles for his vanilla armor piece unlocks? Definitely. Dude, the vanilla armor in this game is good. I mean, some of the vanilla armor is like still the best armor in the game. Some of it. The pauldron specifically, in my mind, on par or better with the rest of the classes. Okay, I'm going to say right now, from what I've seen in his perk selection, I think he has potential to be one of the best classes in the game. For sure. I definitely think he has potential. I still think his team perks aren't that great, but like everything else he's cooking with is pretty insane. He's definitely a very good melee class who can also approach combat from range. And then he also has a turret, so there's a lot. He can approach combat from pretty much every angle, so it's really hard to say like where he will fit in the meta, like what he will excel at on a team. But ultimately, I think he just fits anywhere. That being said, he does need some better team perks in my eyes. I think it's obvious, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed regardless because you never know. Retro compatibility with all the previous cosmetic packs? Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah, definitely, fair. For as much as this armor variant allows, all the other chapter-specific chest plates, shoulders from both years before he was introduced, of course, that the Iron Hands chapter pack is a homage to the Omnisaya. The champion skin is for Techie, and it's filled with augmentic limbs, and armor pieces. Okay, I mean that's cool. That's cool. Iron Hands are definitely a new chapter as far as what I've been hearing about. I know people were really everyone's been talking about Salamanders, Imperial Fist recently, and then of course like Dark Angels, Black Templars, Blood Angels. Oh, yeah, of course we've heard a lot about the popular chapters. Iron Hands definitely very popular as well, but yeah, we can only talk about so many chapters in this game, apparently. I mean, it's true. There's a lot of chapters to make sure that you can flesh out their cosmetics with. So, yeah, it's going to take some time. But yeah, when the Iron Hands pack, when it actually releases, that's going to be great. And that he has a cool and well-developed dynamic with the rest of the team. Plenty of banter, anecdotes, and philosophical conversations about their difference in beliefs. Okay, yeah, the voice lines, I will admit, I'm not too sure what to expect with the voice lines. This is definitely a good direction to go in because, yeah, there's already a voice line in the game that references a TECHMARINE, and everyone always talks about that one, so I wonder what they're going to do about that. Also, please have unique executions and animations in general with the... no, 100% we need new executions for TECHMARINE. I really hope some of the stuff was like, we knew this was going to be in here. They said this was stuff they didn't know, and I guess we haven't seen any of the new executions, but obviously there should be one, because otherwise, why would it take so long? And also, follow-up point, when the game launched, we weren't sure they were going to add a new class, right? There was discussions if they were going to or not. I firmly believe with what I've just read with the perks and with the direction this comment is going, I think, yeah, I definitely see their perspective here. They definitely had to been working on this class when the game launched, or maybe even a little bit before, right? Like, we're on the same page with that. They didn't just pull it out of nowhere. At least that's how I see. Like, honestly, because, yeah, if they just pulled it out of nowhere, I'd be a little bit concerned, I guess. But still, I mean, hey, at least they pulled it off. Finally, we can all agree that a grab pistol would make for an insanely cool and unique sidearm. I agree with this one, for sure. For sure. I've seen a lot of comments saying that he should be really proficient with sidearm weapons, which I haven't really seen too much in his perk system. He's more so like melee, and you can like adjust the way the turrets benefit you and stuff like that. So I still think it's melee and turret focused, but still, again, talking about the primary weapons, I would love an instigator on that. An instigator on that class would be so good. But okay, yeah, I do agree though. The grab pistol is a good idea for a sidearm for sure. But we've already seen so many new weapons that were sidearms. I mean, we did just get the Pyroblast. Maybe they could pull it off. That would be an interesting idea for sure. It's going to have the Omnisaya axe as a two-handed melee option. Now, I'm not too sure if they confirmed this was two-handed. Am I wrong about that? Because I still thought I saw discussions about two-handed weapons. If this is like a new mechanic being added with a new class with a new weapon, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, honestly, as far as gameplay is concerned, yeah, I don't know how he's gonna swing that thing with one arm, but we will see. I mean, it is the TECHMARINE. If anything, he could just couldn't he just forge another arm for it, right? Maybe that's why the axe would be a TECHMARINE specific weapon. But come on, let's be honest. Wouldn't the halberd be great on the assault class? Yeah, the Omnisaya axe. It's definitely an interesting name, because yeah, it's a power halberd, I think, in the leagues. But I'm not sure. Not sure how that's going to be handled. The shoulder-mounted weapon will be its primary and will have a few weapons it can slot in there. It has damage types from what we saw from the perks, I believe. Yeah, like flame, plasma. At least I think it has plasma. I know there's a flame option. Its ability will be automating the turret, which also, wait, hold on. That just popped a thought into my head. If there was flame mechanics on the TECHMARINE, that would also kind of roll over to the Pyre Blaster and the Pyre Cannon being weapons they worked on before launch, right? Like, are we on the same page with that? If anyone is in the comments who reached this part and, like, actually followed my point with that, where it's like, it is a comment I referenced way earlier in this video, do you think that's possible? Like, honestly, they were like, okay, let's make the Pyre Blaster, let's make the Pyre Cannon, boom, fire mechanic, boom, let's put the fire mechanic on the TECHMARINE, boom, game launched. See what I'm saying? Pretty interesting. Okay, let's continue. Its ability will be automating the turret so it can melee and let the gun shoot simultaneously. Anything else will be boring. I'm confident that this TECHMARINE, as far as a fun standpoint, definitely could be the most fun class in the game. I will say, I would love to see Bulwark, TECHMARINE, Assault on one team, Focus Restoration, probably the turret team perk for TECHMARINE, obviously. And then for Assault, you know what I would like to see on Assault with this team? I would love to see the cooldown team perk for Assault. I would love to see that buffed with that team. That sounds so good and very fun, to be honest, because then you could just like support your cooldown playing Assault. You can jump in there with melee, and honestly, if you're playing Assault with TECHMARINE, you should have a TECHMARINE to follow you up pretty aggressively, and then not to mention, you would also have a turret covering your back playing Assault, and yeah, frankly, the TECHMARINE could just do that effortlessly. They don't have to lock in to protect you. They can just do that by accident, which would be interesting. And then, yes, you would have the Bulwark to further sustain the team with Banner, and also would be playing aggressively. That sounds like a great team to just like full melee, like very up front, but also you would have range capabilities because you would be playing with a class that has a bolt rifle. So it's pretty interesting. Definitely pretty interesting. I really like the direction the TECHMARINE is going, but I definitely wanted to take a second look at it just to see if everyone was on the same page with it and we all wanted the same thing and would expect the same thing. And not to mention just cross-reference the leaks we saw from earlier to see if there's anything we missed. And to be completely honest, I do think there may be a few things they could adjust, but we will see. We will see. It's obviously a patch 12 thing, but we're about to see patch 11. And patch 12 will be the next patch, so TECHMARINE hype is definitely going to be a real thing. When that new class shows up, I am not too sure how matchmaking is going to work with it, but to be completely honest, I think I'm just going to jump into a few operations, level it up a bit. We will see. We will see. Because, hey, you know what, guys? If any of you guys aren't playing the TECHMARINE on launch, I might need some pretty good teammates to help me out with maybe punching up a few difficulties. We will see. We will see. I'm definitely excited for it, regardless of if I have to grind out a few perks. You know, the prestige grind is definitely going to feel a little bit painful, but we will see how everything turns out and how it adjusts the game and fits into the meta and everything like that. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe they will add an experience buff when the class releases. That would be a great idea. Would love to see the devs do that. But yeah, for right now, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. And thanks for watching.